G'day. If you're watching this video, then you missed the live performance of the Vic Parks mini conference. The following about hour and a half is a slightly edited version of what we did on the day. We opened with Steve Butler, the president, giving a welcome speech, and then I put everyone into breakout rooms so that they could just touch base with each other and say g'day. This video picks up from when they're coming back into the main room. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome back, everybody. What I'm going to do now is just for 4 minutes, because I knew we'd be running late. For 4 minutes, that's probably because I take time to say things like, I knew we'd be running late, instead of just, anyway. For 4 minutes, I want you to go back into brand new rooms. I'll chuck you into brand new rooms, quickly say hello to each other, and then let's go positive. Share with each other what has been the good thing to come out of the fact that business has been, you know, I was going to say put aside, hardly. I know so many of you have still been working really hard on your business, but what has been a positive? Has it been the homeschooling? Has it been sleeping in? Has it been the lack of people knocking on the door at midnight saying, I've lost my key? Whatever it is, just share for about 4 minutes time. As I mentioned, we are going to spend some time with, I'm going to put myself back in a speaker view, spend some time with some associates, and the first is from Grampians Insurance Brokers. David Hosking, are you in the room?
I am.
Hello, David. Welcome, David. How are you going?
I'm very well, mate. Yourself?
Excellent. I'm not too bad at all. How has business been with you during these last months?
Look, I have to say we've been really fortunate. The impact on us has been fairly minimal. The only thing is, of course, we're all working from home. We've got one person in each office and the rest of us are working remotely.
I imagine the year's been very busy, particularly coming off the back of the bushfires.
Yeah, that was pretty hectic and draining, I'm sure, for everybody.
Yeah, yes, indeed. I should reveal that that I've spoken to David and our other associates last week just to catch up on what's going on. And you were saying then, David, just coming off the back of that bushfires, there's a lesson there about working with professionals, and in this case, working with Grampians Insurance Brokers. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I can, because we had a lot of claims. Fortunately for all of our clients, none of our clients had any property damage, but there was a lot of business interruption claims. So that is prevention of access and parks having to be evacuated and the loss of income that comes with that. And it's fair to say we got some varying responses to the claim situation. And what I can say is, without labouring the point too much, but the people that took the time over their insurance program at renewal, when they set it up, got a much better outcome than perhaps those that didn't, or those that tried to do it on the cheap, or perhaps say, that's good enough. Unfortunately, when it comes to that situation, you've really got to do it properly, or perhaps you're not going to get the result you want. And business interruption in particular, I'd encourage everybody to work with us, or if you'd like, we can work with your accountant or your finance people to get things like your sums insured correct, so that, when it hits, you get a good result.
Absolutely. We spoke last week and you gave me and us the advice about taking this sort of downtime to work on the business. Can you elaborate on that? Yeah,
I can. We spent, I've been in business now for 30 odd years, and one of the things that I've learned over the journey is that you've got to spend a lot of time on your business, not just in your business. And again, I'd encourage everybody now to take the time when perhaps you're not flat out to review things, not just your insurance, but all sorts of things, how you do it, how you go about it. But take the time to review your sums insured and make sure that everything's right. Because as I said, we got varying outcomes, and they varied wildly from people who were disappointed to people who were extremely happy. And it was directly proportional to the amount of time and effort they put into it.
You mentioned particularly about maintenance. Take this opportunity for maintenance. What's the connection between insurance and claims and maintenance?
Yeah, good point, Michael. What we find is that people can often have what we call an adverse claims history. So they have regular claims, and this probably relates particularly to storm damage. because if your premises aren't well maintained, they're susceptible, of course, to extreme weather events, and that results in claims. And if you continually have claims and an adverse claims history, you're going to end up paying more for your insurance program. So again, I'd encourage everyone to take advantage of this bit of downtime to perhaps get around your parks and do as much maintenance and get over things as much as you can.
Absolutely. What do you see as the future going into 21?
I think particularly the people in regional Victoria, I think you're going to be really busy. We saw even earlier this year when Daniel Andrews sort of released the brakes a bit, I think everyone got fairly busy pretty quickly. So I think, and people aren't going to be able to travel internationally or even interstate at the present time. So I think all of you should be busy. So that's good. In terms of our industry and the insurance side of things, I don't think I'm going to tell anyone they haven't already worked out, and that is insurance is not going to get any cheaper, and it's pretty much due to the continued extreme weather events that we're having. And, you know, I've been watching the news recently and looking at those wildfires in California. So it's not just us, it's worldwide, and we need to try and do whatever we can to mitigate that.
Absolutely. And just in wrapping up, you wanted to make the point that we, as in Grampians Insurance Brokers, work for park owners.
Yeah, look, I do want to make that point. Thanks for reminding me. We're insurance brokers. So the bottom line is with us is that we act for you. We act for the client, not the insurer. So, and I can say that in a lot of cases this past summer with the claim situation, we've been able to bear a lot of that emotional brunt and have the difficult discussions with insurers rather than the clients having to have them. It's not to say that every outcome's been perfect, because it hasn't, but by and large, because we're brokers, we work for you. If you're entitled to something, we'll fight for that for you so that you don't have to waste time and effort and emotional energy on having that discussion or argument. And we understand insurance contracts, and we spend a lot of our time pulling insurance companies and assessors into line and making sure that they see it our way, I guess.
Sure. Thank you, David. Thanks for your time today, but also thank you for reminding us all that Grampians Insurance Brokers is there to work with the park owners. Now, just before you go, I believe you have a little prize for someone.
I do have a prize.
What have you got?
We're going to give a mixed dozen of Grampians wines to the lucky winner.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. Also, by the way, I just want to flag to everyone the chat box there. By all means, chat away to your friends. You can either send messages to everyone or find their name in the list and send them privately. We just got a hello from Jenny. There are 7 of us involved from Big 4 Port Fairy who are watching on the big screen in our function room. Hello and welcome to you. Everybody, write down on a piece of paper next to you your first name and your last name. It's a simple game. It's called bingo, all right? You write down your first name and your last name on that piece of paper. Now, here we go. What I'm going to do here is share, in fact, my telephone. And on my telephone, there is a random letter generator. So what's going to happen is I'm going to say a letter because the computer, my phone, is going to throw it up. It's going to letter. If that letter is in your name, cross it off. So anyone who's just got Joe, if your name's Joe and you have no surname, you'll be hoping for J and O. When you've crossed off the last letter, and if it's E and there's 3 E's in your name, then cross them all off at once. Unmute yourself by pressing the space bar and yell out bingo. Okay? Simple as that. Here is the first letter. You've got your name. And the first letter is W. So William, if you're watching, cross off the W. Next letter, F. I'll actually turn this music off because I want to hear the first bingo. Has to be all letters from your first and last name crossed off. D. So Donna, there's one for you. And David Hosking, except it would be too weird if you actually played. A. Next letter, cross it off. Z. There you go. This is good news if a letter comes up. L. U. T. You can feel the anticipation. S. E. J. We must be getting close. Q. I'm hearing a lot of people going, "Cool, ugh." What I need to hear is someone enthusiastically pressing the space bar and yelling out, bingo, bingo, bingo. Here we go. Next. M. P. C. X. O.
The horrible ones.
I don't know what that noise was. I think it was someone's lunch. B. Y.
Bingo.
Ah, finally, there we go. Who is that talking to me? Say it again, bingo. Marcus Mullenby. How easy was that with 2 L's and 27 M's? Congratulations, Marcus Mullenby. David Hosking is going to be in touch with you with a prize very shortly. So excellent. Let us move on. Let's move on. And let's meet one of our park owners in Sue Humphreys. Welcome, Sue.
Hello there, I got you.
Go. Sue and Roger Humphreys, good to see you both. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Look like you're in the dark.
Yes. Well, this is the beautiful Lake Sample, and you can see, some options there. Let's get straight into this. How has 2020 been for you guys?
Not our best year, that it would be for sure. Started off with bushfires and then COVID and a few other things going on, but can only get better from here.
That's the headline and that's the news. How has it been for you, when it comes to mental health? How has resilience found itself in you during these times?
Well, we've stayed reasonably positive. We've sort of had 14 years in the park, so we've seen lots of highs and lows and been through some good times and bad times before now. So we sort of, we felt it wasn't a matter of if we'd ever reopen, it was always a matter of when we would reopen.
Yeah.
We're sort of lucky we've got good cash reserves behind us, so we knew that we could sort of survive tough times. But thankfully the government came good and they've given us quite a few grants and JobKeeper. So that's been a big difference for us because we've kept all our staff employed and we've certainly kept our staff very busy. And a few of them have said if COVID doesn't kill them, all the extra work will.
So what extra work did you do? What did you find yourself doing during these past months?
Well, the boys was pretty physical stuff. So they've sort of been retiling the amenities block. They've refurbished the reception office. They've done a huge tree trimming program, cleaned cabins, walls, roofs, everything. The girls have all spring cleaned all the cabins. I suppose I worked on the business, so, doing social media strategies and did a heap of free workshops that Northeast Tourism was running through Zoom.
How did you find, sorry, Sue, how did you find those? Both kind of getting access to them and then doing them, and what was the clear outcome?
Well, a lot of it was practical stuff. So I did a bit on Instagram, so I learned a lot more about Instagram and Facebook marketing, and they offered some one-on-one workshops, which was really good. So you could go to them directly with your questions, and so I actually sort of mastered the Facebook marketing advertisement thing, which was really good. Fantastic. Yeah, and we've got a bit of a new mini golf course happening, which is a bit exciting. So that's keeping Roger busy at the moment.
Excellent, Roger. There's nothing worse than an idle Roger.
That's right.
Good to see you, Roger.
There's no such thing as an idle Roger if you know Roger at all.
Let's keep what happens in the bedroom out of this conversation just at the moment. Sue, what's your take on this whole "we are in this together" mantra that has come from the top down? How has that been expressed during this time for you?
Well, I suppose we've relied on Vic Parks a lot. So we sort of, all the information comes out and it's fairly confusing and so much to take in. So we sort of just hang out for the Vic Parks emails to come out, or the video conferences, and wait for them to decipher it all for us. That just gives us the direction we needed. It was, what have we got to do? How have we got to implement it? And it just made life so much easier. And it just made you realise too that you're not alone. It's not something we've done wrong or failed at. It's everybody's in the same boat, every caravan park, every business. So it was just sort of made you realise that you're all in there together, and you just got to ride out the wave and stay positive if you can.
Yeah, indeed. And it's great hearing from you with your 14 years plus of experience in it and the idea of riding out the wave. How do you see 2021 for your park?
I personally think we're going to be busy because, you know, I read somewhere that there's $16 million or $16 billion a year spent on international travel. So even if some of that comes back to us in Australia, we're going to be busy, and you know, people are going to stay a bit closer to home. So I think regional travel, for starters, is going to be busy because people have had enough. They just want to get out. And even in, you know, the next year, people are going to be nervous about going overseas. They're going to be nervous about going on a cruise. So there's great opportunity out there for us now to capitalise on all of that and get busy and do good things. And I think, you know, we're all going to be a lot busier than we were before.
Right. Right. Fantastic to hear that that optimism and positivity in your voice. Let's wrap it up with one question. What have you learnt, you yourself or you as the park, over the last 8 months or so?
I gave this an awful lot of thought, Michael, because you put pressure on.
So much for making it look like a spontaneous question, Sue.
Sorry about that. What I came up with was that I think what we have learned ourselves is the value of holidaying with family and friends is so important. You know, it sort of rules our quality of life, our health, our well-being. So what, you know, we found was the hardest thing about COVID was that we missed out on our holidays. We missed out on being able to go and visit our kids in Western Australia. And because we had the time, the park wasn't busy, we had opportunity, but we weren't allowed to travel. It was so frustrating. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and I think we've learned that we're part of a great industry. And whilst we've done it tough with bushfires and COVID this year, it just reaffirms that holiday accommodation is actually a good industry to be a part of, and it's high on everybody's priority list. So, you know, we've just got to hang in there, and I think Dan's given us the green light for now. But I do think if, you know, we just get through this little phase, it'll be bigger and better, and as long as we're all offering good service, our industry will survive and boom in the next couple of years.
Fantastic. I tell you what, that's the best answer from a spontaneous top-of-the-head question that I've ever seen. And final comment, because time's against us, Roger, thank you for not saying anything. All right, now, can everybody please unmute themselves and give Sue and Roger a very big, loud clap? Off you go. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Sue and Roger Humphreys. All right, Tower Business and Real Estate. You can see that now up in the screen there. And I invite Ricky Symes. Ricky, I'm afraid we don't have our hour of Tower this conference, but I hope you're towering on yourself.
Absolutely, Michael. Thanks for your time, mate. Yeah, it's been a interesting period for us over the last sort of 6 months or so. So challenging, like everyone else, I guess, but strange in the sense that we've been really busy, which has been fantastic. Not necessarily all doing deals, not necessarily all equating with deals, but really busy. So.
Can you expand on that? Because some businesses have been totally not, but yours has been booming. Is it buying or selling during this time, or what?
Oh, mate, look, it's a combination of things, I suppose. We were just telling the guys before in our breakout session, we did towards the tail end of COVID-1, I guess, and then moving into COVID-2, we had 11 properties under offer, which is massive numbers for what we do, particularly in this period, particularly in a winter, going through winter. And we lost when COVID-2, when, you know, Dan Andrews announced the you know, stage 4 and stage 3 for Melbourne and regional Victoria, we lost 5 deals in 4 days. So
wow.
Predominantly banks, but obviously people are also a bit nervous about buying a tourism property under those circumstances. So combination of both, but we've still got a few there as well. So it's been good. It's been good.
From where you sit, where do you see the market going in the next 12 months or so?
Oh, mate, look, I just, again, I was saying in the breakout session, I think we've seen people that have really taken stock of where they're at and what they're wanting to do with their lives in the last 6 months. And people that are, you know, in jobs that they're doing, but not necessarily loving. And they're actually now contacting us saying, we want to, you know, caravan park industry is something we've always sort of looked at from afar, but never really done anything about. And this has been an epiphany, I suppose, for them. And they've just gone, well, life's too short to be sitting and doing something I'm not necessarily enjoying or loving. And we've had inquiry's been really good. Very difficult to do inspections when people can't leave their house.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has, and we're sort of working through those with some virtual things and that sort of stuff. But it's been interesting. Yeah.
When we spoke the other day, you did talk about, in your experience, you think this shutdown, this lockdown has really changed the psyche of people in them pursuing things that they might not have otherwise. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, yeah, well, that's exactly right. So like I said, I just think it's been a case of people just sort of taking stock of where they're at in their lives. And it's just, I guess we all go through that at different points in different times, but they just sort of sat back and spending more time with the family. And it's obviously people in caravan parks, running caravan parks are flat out. Like it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. But the great thing about it is your family are with you through it. They're with you through the journey. So, and I think people have been spending time at home with the kids, with the families, and going, this is fantastic. Is there something we can do that can somewhat mirror this? Obviously, it's a lot harder than just sitting at home, and so there's been a bit of that as well.
Yeah. Let's not be coy. What's the downside when someone tries to sell without a broker, without, for example, Tower, with them?
Yeah, mate. Look, what we are starting to see a bit in the market is commercial real estate agents that are acting on behalf of buyers groups and corporates, which have been in the market for a long time now. Everyone's familiar with those, but I think they're getting a bit of a sniff that there may be some the opportunity to buy distressed businesses. So they're starting to go direct a lot, and there's a myriad of people doing it now. People we've never seen or heard of before. So, and they have been able to acquire some, which is fine. Got no issues with that. But what I would say to people is, make sure that if you're going to go down that path, you are understanding of the market, you're understanding of how you build your price and how your price is arrived at, and knowing that you've ticked every box, because we've seen examples of people that have sold for for a lot less than what they could have otherwise achieved. Which, again, I've got no issues with people selling direct. That's all the power to them. But you don't want to see people leaving $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on the table, which is very conceivable and has happened.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ricky. Tower Business and Real Estate, you know them better than me. They've been in business for years and years and years. It's a kind of a condition of entry here, Ricky. Have you got a prize for our good listeners?
Yeah, I have, mate. So just, I guess, we'd like to see to support obviously the industry as we have for 26 years now, but also support the people that are supporting our industry. So we're going to donate $500 for the Lucky Park winner that can spend that money with someone that's supporting our industry. So a Vic Park sponsor, a Vic Park member, to spend that with one of our trades that are supporting the industry.
Fantastic. So we're going to play a little game in a moment. And what Ricky is saying is that whoever wins this game gets a $500 voucher to be spent with one of Vic Park's associates. We were riffing the other day, people like Benji's Cleaning Products or Speed Queen, you know them. They're people that you deal with every day. So how do we play this game? Very simply, get your phone out. Get your phone at the ready. I have my phone here at the ready. The next screen is going to be a code for what my phone number is. I'll give you a hint. It starts with 04. And if you just look at the clues, you can work out what the other digits are, all right? The first person who actually calls me on my phone, answers, wins the $500 voucher courtesy of Tower. So all eyes on the screen, get your phone ready and call me. Off you go. Fix a screen. There we go. Hold the horses. Here we go. Hello, who's this? Hello, David Pratt. If you just start talking.
I'm here.
Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Congratulations, David. How are you?
Thank you. Not too bad.
Good, good, good. Where are you calling from for
Calling from
newcomers?
Warburton Holiday Park.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us at the conference. Thank you for supporting Tower. And Ricky will get in touch with you to give you that $500 voucher. Thanks for being part of the show, mate.
Thank you.
Fine, Dave.
Cheers, 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 cheers. All right. Let's move now to one of our other guests, and this is James Kelly from Lifestyle Communities. You know James very, very well indeed. Welcome, James, to the mini conference.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
It's going very well. How is it going for you, importantly?
Really good. I'd love to be out of lockdown. It's been a long time that I've all been shut down. So I'm saying to the team now, only 6 weeks to go. So let's start getting ready for when we can start selling again. So that's been the sort of big moment for us to sort of get to that point, because we've been locked down for 3 months, not been able to sell a home. So
yeah,
pretty tough.
But you were telling me that Lifestyle as a company has been able to retain its people.
Yeah, so it was interesting when we started the whole thing. I remember back in March when, you know, the first lockdown started, and you know, we started thinking about it. You know, I liken myself to being sort of the captain of a ship, you know, sailing through uncharted waters with 100 crew who are our team and 3,500 homeowners who are our passengers. And you know, there was icebergs out there. We didn't know where they were, and you know, the owners were always sort of talking to you about, you know, staying afloat. And I think the really hard thing was to sort of, you know, map a course at that time. So we developed something called Project Bulletproof, which was around making sure that we kept all our staff, all our team. We've got 110 in our team. So we kept every one of them, and also really ensured that we looked after our homeowners and did everything we possibly could to make sure that they were safe, well, and engaged. So we did a lot of wellness programs and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was interesting times to start. But what are we now? 7 months later. So it's now sort of I hope coming to the end of the journey, but we're still on the ship looking forward and trying to still navigate everything that gets thrown at us. Indeed.
Interesting analogy of the ship. Did you feel that at times you were on the Titanic or the SS Minnow?
Hopefully not the Titanic. But it was interesting, just, you know, we're a listed company, so it was just being interested in that listed space. You know, when the you know, the news first came out about COVID, you know, all the share prices crashed. So I think for a moment there, Michael, I felt I was on the Titanic a bit there for a sense. Yeah. Unfortunately, our share price has come back to where it should be. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of that uncertainty with every government announcement in terms of what that would mean, and I think that was the hardest thing to get a real appreciation of.
Sure, sure. We were saying last week that there was an iceberg that you managed to avoid and actually see as an opportunity. Share with that.
Yeah, so I think that, you know, one of the big things I've learned in business is whether it's through the GFC or the crash in '92 or the tech crash in the '90s was, you know, you should always keep marketing no matter what, because you can get a much bigger size of voice in the marketplace, share of voice. So so the really interesting thing was that, you know, rates to advertise on radio in the Herald Sun crashed 80%. So basically what we were paying in April or in March for a radio ad, we were now paying 20% of that. So we developed a whole lot of really good campaigns and went really strongly into the market with a lot of advertising just to build the brand and build awareness. And I totally agree with what Ricky said. I think we're now going to see a customer coming out of this who've reprioritised, suddenly going, oh my God, life's no dress rehearsal, time to sort of seize the moment, and may look to downsize and sort of do all those things of coming in and staying in all the amazing parks we've got in Victoria and around Australia, and sort of rethinking about what's important. So I think it's created that sort of silver lining for us. So we've been certainly working on that with our marketing to sort of build on that theme.
Yeah, talking about what's important, you were reflecting last week that this whole 6, 7, 8 months has really focused on what is important to Lifestyle Communities, and that is your people.
100%, yeah. You know, I think you sort of lean into your strengths during these times, and I think the hardest capital is one thing, that's just money. Assets another thing, that's something you got to look after. But it's the people that you train up and work with, and recruit and nurture and onboard and induct and build up into your culture that are the most important things. So right from the get-go, we decided that was the most important thing, to maintain our human capital and to make sure that we kept everyone on board. And we've been quite heavily recruiting actually over the last couple of months to sort of fill a lot of vacancies we've had, and new communities were opening, and bringing on new people onto our team. So we've been taking a very positive sort of outlook in terms of where this is ultimately going to be. Not what we did in March, I will say. March, April was a little bit uncertain, but then as it's settled down, then we could sort of build some confidence about where the business is going to go. And I agree, this positive updraft we're going to get as a result when COVID ends, I think it's going to be incredible for our industry.
Fantastic. That is terrific to hear that optimism. Last question to you, top of head. What have you learned over these last few months?
I think it's you just got to lean into your strengths. There's no point in trying to do something you're going to do terribly differently. Just lean into what you know. And I think for us, marketing was one of the big ones we know that we're good at, and we leaned into that pretty heavily. But I think the main one was just our people. Like, at the end of the day, the importance of our people at times like this, to keep them on board, to keep them focused, to keep looking forward, to keep being positive. I think it's been one of the biggest things I've learned out of it. And it's a bit like, still back to my ship analogy, if you're not looking forward and looking backwards, you are going to hit the iceberg. So I think it was a big sort of real focus from everyone at Lifestyle. We've introduced a whole lot of different things, like every Monday now, and we'll keep this going even post-COVID. Every Monday morning with Zoom, you can get your whole team on a meeting and talk about what's coming up, get everyone on the same page, talk about an amazing week ahead. And so we've learned so many things out of this as well, in terms of different ways of communicating, what's important, and using different technologies to enable that. So so it's been, I think what we've learned has been, it's made us just stronger. Certainly, it's had its challenges, but out of that comes some strength. And I think that's the things we're going to take out of this.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Can everybody please give James Kelly from Lifestyle Communities a big round of applause? Interesting and really good, isn't it, that you see the perspective from Sue and Roger at a smaller park all the way through to a big player like Lifestyle Communities, and the message is the same, that the future looks certainly better than looking backwards over the last few months. There's some great conversation going on in the chat box. Please use this while me and my guests rabbit on. One question was, love to find out more about where to get more training helping to grow business, such as Instagram and best places to advertise. So can I ask you, Sue Humphries, to write in the chat box that place that you've found that online training for us, please. Okay, now, we flagged earlier that there was some news coming from the Premier earlier today. I was in this space, so I missed it all, but you can bet that Scott Parker and Steve and your Vic Park's legal counsel, Peter Crawford, were well across it. So Scott, can I throw to you? And for the next 5 minutes or so, you can lead this conversation.
Thanks, Michael, and hi, everybody. What a terrific turnout. Thanks for supporting Vic Parks in this forum. For those that were still jumping on at a few minutes after 11, no doubt you were looking at the Premier and his announcement that regional Victoria will be open from midnight tomorrow night. So in effect, we're going to the third step of the regional Victoria roadmap for reopening. For us, that means caravan parks are open. They're open. And Peter who spent probably a few more minutes than I this morning getting across any detail that wasn't apparent by 11 o'clock. But we believe that means with caps as per the social bubble, and that the social bubble is creating a household bubble with one nominated household, allowing up to 5 visitors from that household at a time, not including infants under 12 months. And we also know that there is, in terms of public gatherings, a maximum of 10 people allowed outdoors. I think unless Peter heard anything different over the last half an hour, that's the extent of the detail that was announced today. but I'm absolutely certain that there will be operator guidelines that will give us much more information about what that means in practice. As per late May and even through early June, where there were restrictions around whether communal facilities would be open or what part of communal facilities and under what conditions, whether it would be self-contained sites open only. I don't get a sense that the restrictions will actually be all that significant from what I've been able to glean out of government so far. But we, like everybody else, haven't been engaged to the level that we've been requesting over the last couple of weeks, such that we would be in a better position to anticipate what those operator guidelines might look like. I think my sense is that the government bureaucracy has been told to shut up shop with engagement once they'd made a decision to bring forward step 3 in regional Victoria. But I'm very hopeful that that our contacts into government will now reach out to us as requested, and we can start to influence the nitty-gritty of what reopening might look like. The only other thing I can add to that, before perhaps Peter can expand a bit further, if there is anything to expand on, is that the Premier did say that a COVID-safe plan will be required and enforced by the 28th of September. So not at reopening in a day and a half, but by the 28th of September, a COVID-safe plan will need to be in place and it will be an enforceable requirement. Peter, is that how you understood it? Or is there anything else that you can add?
Well, thanks, Scott, and good morning, everyone. That is pretty much as I understood it. It was interesting during question time, the Premier expanded on a couple of things. Firstly, he made it very clear that there will be no change in the restriction of movement from Melbourne. So the fact that regional Victoria moves to the 3rd step and reopens to a large extent does not mean that people can travel from Melbourne into regional Victoria. He also made it very clear that there'll be no travel to a second residence from Melbourne. He was asked whether he would consider excluding the peninsula, the Mornington Peninsula, from the Melbourne metropolitan area because it has no current cases. He made it very clear that that's not on the radar at this stage. As Scott said, I'd expect that we would have some restricted activity directions published tomorrow night, which will give us the detail of what we can and cannot do from 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night. And we'll be onto those and summarise them and publicise them in snapshots as soon as we can. But I would expect that we'd go back to something similar to where we were before stage 3 was introduced in regional Victoria.
Cool. Anything else, Scott, that you'd like to add?
No, I think that's all. So it's classical. We'll drop the information that we want people to hear and understand, and then the bureaucrats will run around in the background finalising the detail. And then, as I say, hopefully reaching out to us early this afternoon to ensure we're part of the discussions about that detail. That was all, Peter.
It's clear, I think it needs to be said that it's very clear there's no change to metropolitan Melbourne. So those restrictions which were imposed upon parks in metropolitan Melbourne some weeks ago remain. If anybody needs a refresher on those, they can go back to our webinar of the 7th of August where we went through that. One issue about metropolitan Melbourne is with permitted worker permits. For those parks who have issued permitted worker permits, there was some conversation or discussion in recent days about whether they would need to be reissued. The government's now made it clear that they don't, that if permits have been issued with future date ranges, they don't need to be reissued, and businesses can edit and add to the dates of those permitted worker permits if they need to.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Scott. As usual, Vic Parks will have a précis of the changes on their website very, very soon. So as usual, go to Vic Parks as your source of interpretation of this ever-changing landscape. All right. Now, I meant to flag right at the beginning, no one's dropped off, which is fantastic. We started with 168. We've still got 168. And why would you drop off? Particularly when I flag that one of you is at the end going to win a free renewal of your membership. Okay, more about that later. It's going to be a random thing. You don't have to earn it as such, except just be with us at Stump, so to speak. But we're now going to start a little three-part competition that will involve you going into your breakout rooms. Now, I've put you into different breakout rooms, and these ones you will return to again. This group that you're with, you're going to meet very soon, are your team. Okay, before I send you into your team, I want you to get your phones out. Get your phones out now and open your browser on your phone and go to this address that you will see on your screen there. It is menti.com and use the code 926602 and 8. And when you log in, can you please put your proper name? It gives you a default name, a silly name, which is fine. But if you could put, say, Michael P. Don't put Michael P. That's my name. Put your first name and your second initial. Look, we've got people landing with us already. I'll give you a few moments to get online with that. And if you play this game, you will be part of a winning team, hopefully, and every member in this team wins a prize, as well as an individual prize as well. Details later. What I'm going to do is show you a video of from Visit Victoria a couple of years ago. You need to watch this video. It only goes for 45 seconds. You need to watch this video and remember everything about it. As soon as the video is finished, I'm going to throw you into these breakout rooms. Okay, and have a quick hi. There's only 5 or 6 of you in the room, new people. Then keep an eye on your phone because I will trigger a question. Okay, in fact, the first question we'll do now before we go into our room. We've got 116 people playing. Fantastic. You can join at any time. Here is let's enter. Here's how it look on your phone. The first question is, have you logged in? It's a very simple question. And let's see if you get the right answer. You've actually got 20 seconds to answer this, okay? It's a simple yes or no. Sometimes you have to submit as well, and sometimes you don't. 114 people online, 115 going up all the time. 3 seconds left, 2, 1, and time is up. And yes, good. 3 people haven't logged in, which is actually impossible, but that's okay. You've got the idea. So as I say, we're going to look at a video. You're going to go into your breakout room. And as soon as you go into your breakout room, write down on a piece of paper what your breakout room number is. That's going to be very important. It says it up on the top of the screen, okay? And also, before you, I'll give you a moment before I ask the first question, number yourselves from 1 to 6, okay? And remember that, write that down as well. So room 17, I'm number 3. You'll need that for the whole prize thing at the end. Enough talking, here we go.
Everyone needs a bit of space. Sometimes more, and sometimes less. From personal space to breathing space, a creative space, or reflective space, outer space, making space for more, and even the ever-elusive parking space. If you're looking for your happy space, we just might know the perfect place.
Okay, I'm going to move you in 1 second. You've got 20 seconds to answer the question. You can take all of that time, but don't be late, otherwise you won't get any points. But work as a team, okay? You're a team. You can, come up with your own answers, and enough said. Remember your room number and your number, and let's go. The leaderboard looks like this. Now, we've got a lot of people obviously on 5,000. I have a way of working out who wins in the end of the day, but we have Hayley, Claire Bronwyn, Kay, and James Kelly in the lead at 6,000. But there's a hell of a lot of 5,000s as well, which is just one question away. I'll explain how we'll differentiate that a little bit later on. But let's lose the music, as much as I love that, and let's meet another one of our park owners, and that is this man here. What a beautiful dog. I wonder if it is Simon Edwards' own dog. Hello, Simon. Simon Edwards from Warburton Holiday Park. Are you there, Simon?
Michael, how are you going?
I'm good, mate. How are you travelling?
Yeah, pretty good, considering, yeah.
That's good. Is it your dog?
No, it's not. No, that was some guest dog happened to be there when the photographer was on site.
Right. Okay. Cool. 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 Now, we were going to talk. We have talked about resilience with James and Sue, but I want to talk about resilience with you in a different way, because while I had some planned questions about how the last months have been going, you had a very traumatic and dramatic last Tuesday morning, I believe. Take us through what happened, and this is a lesson to all of us about resilience. That's what we're focusing on. Simon, go ahead.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, we had one right out of the box a week ago where we had a pretty damaging storm come through the caravan park, and a fair bit of damage was done. The park looked like it had been chewed up and spat out, actually, and it culminated in a big gum tree coming down and squashing a couple of caravans. Unfortunately, one of the caravans had a resident inside at the time. And this was about probably 1:30 in the morning, and talk about right place, right time. I happened to be coming around the corner in the old work ute after tying down some other stuff in the park in time to see this tree come down and actually squash this caravan. So yeah, it was a fair bit of action going on there at the one time, and the resident in question was actually kind of trapped inside for a while, and once we managed to get him out of the caravan, we sort of stood back and took in all the damage.
What was in your heart and your throat at that time when you saw this tree fell?
I thought, honestly, I'm going to be in front of the coroner having to answer questions about it. I seriously thought the guy might have been crushed in some shape or form, and it was pretty scary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, you told me that you were able to get him out okay?
Yes, yeah, he was unhurt, which was fantastic news. Very shaken up. But yeah, one of those situations where I guess property can be repaired, but people can't. So in the end, it was, I guess, as good a result as we could have got.
Yeah, I don't think that blue car's going to get repaired anytime soon.
No, it's going to need a bit of a cut and polish. Yeah, it's seen better days.
So clearly a horribly stressful situation. How did you feel the next 24 hours or so, and how are you feeling now, being witness to and not responsible, don't get me wrong, but being the person that people will be looking forward to solve all of this?
Yeah, well, at the time I was probably feeling a fair degree of shock. Pretty much lived on adrenaline for the next 36 hours. We had a hell of a cleanup, which we had to undertake. We had trees down everywhere. A lot of other caravans also wound up with limbs on their roofs, etc. But I guess it's one of those situations where I just feel really fortunate that nobody was actually injured, and that's always been one of my great fears, a camper or another resident in the park being hurt by a falling tree.
Yeah.
Our caravan park is in an environment where we do have a lot of significant trees. It's not always easy to remove some of these dangerous trees, either because of council red tape. But yeah, just very fortunate that nobody was actually hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. How long did it take you before, the adrenaline stopped and you kind of realised, wow, this could have been far worse?
I think I was probably in a bit of shock for probably a day afterwards. It took a while to sink in, particularly when every time I went and checked on the resident, who we moved into one of our cabins for the short term, because obviously he had nowhere to live. Every time I went and checked on this old resident, Rob, and I could see how shaken he was, and it really hit home that he'd had one hell of a close call.
Yeah. Now, this hopefully is a day out of the ordinary, but you and many park owners are faced with these kind of dramas, perhaps not as severe as this one, but these dramas all the time. Let's think about resilience. How do you keep your upness? Because I know you for a few years now, Simon, and when we spoke last week, you were determined to say, oh, I'm all right, no, I'm fine, it's okay. How does stress, so many questions, how does stress show itself in you?
Well, I guess stress is cumulative, and we all carry it inside us, whether we know it's overt or not. But I guess the way I probably carry it is, and I'm thinking here of all the sleepless nights we've had over COVID, worrying about when we can reopen, thinking about the investments we've made in our businesses and the debts that we're holding, and retaining staff, all the other issues that we're concerned with. I guess the main factor I have is I've had periods where I've struggled to sleep, haven't been able to turn my mind off. I've probably been a bit shorter with my kids than I should otherwise have been. But in general, I feel like I've been handling it as best I can. I really try to keep perspective on things, and I have a pretty positive outlook in general. It might be for other people to answer how I've been handling it, I guess, Michael.
How would you describe how you're feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm intrigued to hear the Premier saying that the regional areas are going to be able to open up within a day's time. That's good news. That's a step in the right direction. In general, I'm feeling pretty positive. I think there's a lot of unpent demand for family holidays, caravanning and camping. I think we're ideally positioned when we eventually do open up in entirety. We'll be beneficiaries of that. There's no doubt a lot of families have cabin fever. No one's going to Disneyland for a family holiday for a while. And I think we're
big parks at
take advantage of that.
They've just
yeah, indeed. Sorry, just to remind everyone to make sure that your mics are off. I'm going to mute everyone again. And so, Simon, if you can unmute yourself. And just final question, Simon, unmute yourself. Good on you, mate. What have you learnt over these last days, weeks and months?
What I've learnt is how fortunate we are to have the team of staff that we do. We have some incredibly loyal and hardworking people surrounding us, and they're very positive as well, which I guess we feed off each other's positivity. And the whole way along, it's been evident that it's not just us ourselves as owners going through these trials. We've got a team of people around us that also feel the punches, but also provide a lot of support, both directly and indirectly.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Simon. Thanks for your openness and your firstly, thank you on behalf of Rob for doing what you did for him on the night, and but thank you for your honesty and sharing with us today. Please put your hands together for Simon Edwards from Warburton Holiday Park. Last Friday, as you may know, it was Are You OK Day, and so this focus on mental health is really important all the time, but particularly at the moment. Steve, would you like to come in here and talk about how Vic Parks can help its members when it comes to mental health?
Look, thanks, Mike. So I guess continuing on the resilience theme, we've been critically aware, talking to a number of our members about the levels of anxiety and concern, and it surprised me how that's been right across the board for all our membership. And look, none of us are immune. I've had sook days as well, I've got, as I call them, and where I've just felt the pressure sort of really piling on us. But I just wanted, if I could, talk about one couple in particular, if I can, and hopefully they're online. And I guess most people know Mel and Paul Daly from Clack Clack Caravan Park. And are you there, Mel?
I'm here.
Fantastic. You had me worried for a moment. I thought you'd really scarp it. There you go.
Notice Paul's taken off though. He's not.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Can't sit still for that long.
Correct. Look, for those that don't know, we're Clack Clack, and it's not pronounced Colac like a lot of us do. I won't do that to you, Mel. But it's up in the northeast Victoria, just near Corrion. And the area was absolutely devastated by bushfires earlier this year. And I know from your point of view, Mel, the park in the region was closed for a number of months. And just as you were starting to recover, COVID hit. I'm just wondering, you know, you and I have had a number of chats, and Paul's had a number of chats over the last few months. I'm just wondering how you've managed to personally survive, you know, the double whammy of both bushfires and COVID.
We're doing okay, believe it or not. Like, at least with the bushfires, we have got the workers, so they've ticked us over. But yeah, it's been tough. So.
Yeah. And personally, what are some of the symptoms that you've found, you know, during, I guess, during the dark times? What sort of sticks out in your mind?
Just interruption to sleep, like just, yeah, can't switch off your mind. Yeah, just can't focus. I think that's the one that I sort of, something that you could have done before bushfires really easy, takes a bit of time and effort.
So how have you and Paul dealt with that?
Wine? No. No, I don't know. We're just in it together, like, and we've sort of reached out and chatted to other people, and we've been very fortunate that we've received great amounts of support. So you know, from different people. So chatting, family.
Yeah. So I guess with chatting, and I've certainly noticed that the telephone's become, you know, the new boom tool of 2020 from my point of view. I've been getting a lot more phone calls. I've been getting emails, which has been great. I guess when you're feeling down and you want to chat to somebody, you're not necessarily looking for advice, are you? You
No.
want to hear more than anything?
Sometimes it's just to hear a familiar voice, or just so that you know you're not going through it alone, and you know we're not alone. So, and it's just nice to hear what other people are doing, or you know that they're feeling crappy too. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, I don't think it matters, you know, who you are or where you are. We can certainly all be impacted by it, and look, I know from experience when it hits, it really hits, and it's very difficult to push aside. But I've just found that just talking to people has just been fantastic. And I do appreciate the number of calls that I've been getting from people. I guess the thing that Big Parks has really started to push over the last few months is that on the basis none of us are immune, on our snapshots, we've been putting out contacts and particulars for professional help. And I guess the message from today is, if you're finding that talking to one of your mates or colleagues or an associate or a friend's not working, it may be time to reach out a bit further to get some professional assistance. So it's up on the screen there. But if you need any particular advice, please ask for it and pick up the phone and ask for help.
Definitely.
Great advice. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mel, for sharing your experience as well. And yeah, there are the lines up there: Lifeline, Beyond Blue, eHeadspace, Men's Line, and MindSpot. All right, let us move along as we welcome another good this person here.
Hi, I'm John. And I'm Nathan from Yarrawonga Manufactured Housing. We understand that times have been difficult during COVID-19 for all park operators, as the pandemic has gripped everyone, including us.
Our team at YMH have been working on new designs for en-suites and cabins to assist you stand out from other providers and give you that point of difference to welcome your customers once the restrictions have eased.
We are ready to work with you.
Are you ready?
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 Are you ready indeed? And Roger, I get the feeling that you are very ready to work with Parks again as we get through this dark time.
Yeah, we are, Michael. And as Sue Humphrey said before, I think we definitely will see an influx of customers come through your doors as international borders remain closed and until even our borders, state borders open, people will be travelling within. So yeah, I think people need to be ready for the hopefully the onslaught.
Yeah. To give me a brief thumbnail history about YMH. How big is it? When did it come into being?
Yeah, look, YMH started from John Tresice. John is a owner-operator of a caravan park for many years and saw the need to put something a little bit more luxurious into his parks. And in the mid-90s, that was the commencement of YMH to what it is today. We employ around about 35 local staff in a small country town in Mulwala on the banks of the Murray River, and which is great for that little town. It's a family-owned business with John as managing director and Nathan as general manager. Also, John's daughter, granddaughter, and daughter-in-law are involved in the company as well. So very much a family business.
Right, cool. I started the conference by saying we'll be meeting some associates who are reminding us that they are here to help. How has YMH been helping park owners over the last few months?
Yeah, look, it's been challenging for everyone, and I'm just repeating what everyone's saying, of course, and it's been challenging in our own ways. Fortunately, we have been able to continue to trade in a restricted format, of course, and with our own COVID policies in place. Border closure has been a big issue for us. Not being able to get all our workers to work has been a big challenge, some outside that border bubble. But we've managed to go through, and in that period we've looked at ways of changing product, and we're seeing maybe a change that will now stay with us forever and into the future as a result. And this might be in the way that you present cabins. So we always, and will continue to call it, a point of difference. So as people are looking to holiday, we're all trying to seek that same client, that same guest. And now you've got motels, resorts, Airbnb also seeking that same guest. So this is an opportunity for people to put something that a little bit different in, work with us, and come up with some of the results that you see there.
Yeah, fantastic. These are obviously in situ. These aren't, on the drawing board. These are really happening.
No, they're actually in place and in operation. There have been a few of those for some time now. So, and as you can see, it is thinking outside the square a little and giving that comfort. We had one customer at one cabin we put into a park. I asked the owners for their first reaction of their first customer, and they videoed it. And as the customer walked in, it was, wow, how good is this? And
fantastic.
That's what you want to hear as a park owner.
Yeah. Did you get that video for your own testimonial for YMH?
I have actually, and I'll be putting that out somewhere. So yes, watch this space.
No, absolutely. It's very sexy, accommodation. The old idea of, 40 years back thought of a caravan park cabin. When this is now available, it's very appealing indeed. I believe you've got some specials for our members if they purchase before 30th of November.
Yeah, look, as a result of what we've been working on over the last few months and inquiries that we have been getting due to the pandemic is en-suites. We've seen an influx of en-suite inquiries and also amenities. The amount of amenities that we've had in construction over the past 6 months has been amazing. And they're also been designed that little bit different for making more private facilities as we come down through our stages and eventually turn to some normality. So we decided with a very close charity that we have to us, which is Make-A-Wish Australia, which is extremely close to myself. They are struggling. They're like us. They rely on community events to fundraise. So we're going to them out as well. So any en-suite that we sell, we'll donate $500, and then any cabin or amenities will put $1,000.
That's great. That's great. So $1,000, so it's no more cost to the purchaser. It's just $1,000 of that purchase price goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Fantastic. Thank you for that generosity. And given that you're in such a giving mood, Roger, have you got a little something for someone watching right now?
Yeah, look, we'd like to offer up a 2-night stay in one of our new cabins, actually, at one of our great clients, the Mulwala Ski Club at Mulwala. Unfortunately, we might have to wait till border restrictions are eased to get you across there, but we'll honour to that to when it is. There it is. You can see it right there. That's one of our new elevated cabins with views over that fantastic lake at Lake Mulwala. So we'll offer a 2-night stay in one of those cabins and also a voucher to use at the Mulwala Ski Club to use in either the restaurants or across the bar. I'll be happy to help you reduce that. And we'll also invite you up to YMH, take you for a tour, show you what's in construction and put on some lunch for you at the same time.
Fantastic, fantastic. What a very generous gift. So we're now going to play a little game, and I think it's time that we got off our feet. We're going to play a little treasure hunt. Okay, very simply. I'm going to, in a second, share on the screen 5 items, common items around the house. You good people need to get out of your chair, run and find these 5 items and come back to your chair holding them all. Once you have them all, the first person who writes Mike in the chat box, have a look at the bottom of your screen and you should see the word chat box. It might be under the more part or something. As soon as you write Mike, M-I-K-E, I will stop the competition and that person gets to talk to me. And if they have the 5 items, they win that 2-night stay. Some pajamas, a saucepan, some sticky tape, some Glad wrap and toothpaste. Off you go. Go, go, go.
Cling wrap, toothpaste.
Off you go. 5 items. Let me open the chat box.
We could go to my house.
Quick, quick, quick. I'm looking for the word Mike in the bottom of the chat box. First one. Who's it going to be? You need all 5 items in your hands at once. Pajamas and saucepan. Oh, there we go. Andrew and Alice, where are you? Can you start talking?
Andrew and Alice, we own the Beechworth Holiday Park.
Great.
Here up in the northeast.
Fantastic. Show me your items. Show me your Glad wrap.
Glad wrap?
Yep. Saucepan? Sorry, Andrew. Off you go. Toothpaste? I didn't see that.
Toothpaste?
Yes, nice. Sticky tape? There it is. Can you make some noise, please, and then everyone can see you.
Oh, yep. There's the sticky tape.
Very good. And your pajamas. They were way too...
So do I take my clothes off because that's where I wear to bed?
Are you saying you don't have pajamas with you? Oh, there they are. Show us and talk. Show us.
There they are, pajamas.
There. Anyway. Oh, good. Oh, good. Congratulations. You're off on that holiday courtesy of Roger Fuller. Fantastic. Very nice. Very nice indeed. No, you're very welcome. Very welcome. Let's get moving along here because it is time to meet another park owner. And this is Lorraine Golightly. How are you going?
I'm good. Yeah,
good. News. Thanks for joining us. But, you know, how are you going is a loaded question these days. How are you going and how has the last months been?
Well, once we got rid of all the tears and we all held all up mentally, and then along came JobKeeper and we could see a bit of reality that what the next 6 months would look like. So thank you to the government for that. That was our lifeline because we've been here 50 years and we have a very large team of 50 people, and all my tears were how were we going to keep this team together? So once that all finished, we sat down and made a big strategic plan to revamp the business, review everything we've done over the last 50 years. We're very good at saying yes, 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 but sometimes you just tend to get going faster and faster. So it's been a real reality check to just take load of where we're at as a team. I think that was really important.
Absolutely. And I know you've taken this opportunity to work on the business, your own skills, and therefore for the business. Can you explain about that?
Well, 50 years of business has been up here. And the last 9 years, I've been trying to get everything out of my head. We started off as a very small family business and working up to our team of 50. It's been a very long road to get everything out of the head and expect that the park will run on its own as a business on a daily basis. So therefore we have to make sure we've got a lot of strategic things in place. So what we've done is gone through every procedure that we have within the park. We've actually given a lot of the things that we do the flick and tried to simplify the business, and done a lot of multi-training across different sectors of the business, and that's come out of rewriting procedures manuals and some of the team really wanting to take on other sections of the business. So now we're going to have a lot of multi-skilled staff, which we've done a lot of training programs over the last month or so. Our last one being this Thursday, ready to go, and I think we're going to come out a better business for it.
That's great. You've really gone paperless, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Totally contactless, check in, check out. So most of the time, we're really not even taking any money over the counter when we're here now. Everything's on accounts, paid when they leave in one account. So the last time we went to the bank was many, many months ago.
Speaking of mental health, because of all that work you've done in such a condensed time, because you've sort of had the time to do it, how has that affected the way you see 21, 22, ultimately retirement and so forth? How's that been affected?
I think that we'll have good structure in place, and I've got the team that we have now is a very strong team, and we have quite a young team as well, so they've all stepped up into a lot of managerial roles, and we've even gone down to the nth. We've now actually got one of our housekeepers is now the chemical officer, and I would never have dreamed that we would ever need things like that, but it's making responsibility for different people to have to be part of that team to make it one big picture. So that's going to be my outcome, so that I can actually once this is all over, I can go fishing.
There you go. Now, any business that doesn't change and move forward is foolish. And you've certainly taken the opportunity, even though against advice. Don't they say in difficult times you shouldn't invest in capital items, but you did.
Yes, we did. One of our biggest capital items is we've gone away from the old trolley for the housekeeping. So we have, I think we're up to about 15 golf buggies that have now been personalised a back on those to be fully self-contained, that basically we carry all equipment that will go in accommodation. So as the housekeepers work now, virtually the runner of the day can look at quality control and making sure that the day is strategically run, rather than running after an extra knife and fork and another bed underlay. Everything is contained in these housekeeping buggies. So it's been a big investment, but we're already seeing the streamline of it. It'll end up paying for itself in less than 12 months.
Right, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, Lorraine. Last question, what have you learned over 2020?
We've always listened to our guests, and I think probably this has been the biggest lesson for us, is that we've totally ditched our cancellation policy. By listening to the guests, everybody's been under pressure, including ourselves, but the guests, more importantly, when they ring up, they want to hear on the other end of the phone, you can have 100% refund and we'll do it for you right now, and we look forward to seeing you again. The shock of silence on the other end of the phone taught us that we shouldn't make money out of cancellation policies, give the people their money back, keep them happy, and they're guaranteed to come back. So out of that, we made a video and we put that on social, and the phone, I think the first day we took $16,000 worth of bookings, just purely by people just trusting you that you're going to.
Fantastic. Fantastic. What a great indicator of the power of trust, relationship that you've built up over many years. You're giving back to them in that way, and they responded positively for you. Fantastic. Can everybody, audibly or not, give Lorraine Golightly an applause for joining us today? Thank you so much, Lorraine.
Pleasure.
Cool. Let's move on to another associate that we are very happy to have on board today, and that is Jared Walls from RMS. G'day, Jared.
G'day, Michael. Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure. How are you travelling, and how is RMS been coping in 2020?
Yeah, look, we're going well. Obviously, we see the apartment and hotel market getting smashed a lot more than the parks market at the moment. As a business, RMS, we've stayed quite busy. Very early in the picture, we launched a hardship program where we gave away relief in the form of fees to over 1,200 properties globally. So that's kept us quite busy. We're also working very closely with the Caravan Industry Association of Australia on their COVID Safe plan, That's in the form of advising the government that the parks have tools for contact tracing and that kind of thing available to them, and they are ready for business to start coming back. So really, we're just getting involved and helping out everywhere we can for everywhere in the industry. But it's definitely been a very busy time.
That's good that you've been busy, and certainly busy in innovation. Tell us about the COVID health declaration and contact tracing wizard.
Absolutely. So we were very lucky, actually. Just prior to COVID hitting, we built what we call the pre-check-in processes, which is where, much like a kiosk, but instead of using a kiosk, people can use their mobile phone. So you can send people a URL to click on with their phone that will take them straight through a pre-check-in process where they can complete their registration. They can go through this COVID health declaration wizard. It involves all the contact tracing and everything you need. I can actually share my screen very quickly and give you a look if you like.
Go for it, yeah.
Beautiful. So I've just emulated here what it will look like on a mobile phone once you send this across to someone. As you can see, they'll immediately be presented with the ability to complete a pre-check-in process. It's very quick and easy to follow. The customer can come through and confirm who they are, details of their reservation, where they're from, all of that kind of stuff. They'll get a review of the reservation itself and a chance to review the terms and conditions for the property, acknowledge them, put a little signature in place. And that's what enters you into the COVID health declaration. Everyone can choose to use this or not choose this. It's still a really useful tool if you're not using the COVID health declaration, so that people can actually just come in, complete that registration process, and even pay the balance of their stay before arrival. So
Yeah, right. And this is available right now?
Absolutely. No additional charge, available to everybody.
Fantastic. And talking about innovation, again, RMS is looking more online for training, or offering, I should say, training.
Absolutely, yes. We've had an increase in people wanting to make use of the time. And we've been giving away some discounts on training for people who do want to get involved and learn how to use the system better. You know, just making use of that downtime to get your business prepared, whether that's updating your online booking pages to mirror the branding of your business, getting onto more channels, all the different ways that you can capitalize on being online, which I think with COVID is more important than ever.
Absolutely. So what do you see happening in the marketplace for 2021 and beyond?
Look, we do monitor the booking curve, and we have noticed that we're already starting to see increases in bookings. Consumer confidence in the market is already going up, which is great. We think it will be a bumper year next year for the parks market. You know, there'll be far less international travel, far more domestic. And with everyone being cooped up for so long, what better destination is there than caravan parks? That, you know, you're out, space, other people. I think it's going to be a booming year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jared. I noticed in the chat box, Janine has said, when we were open, we used the RMS pre-check and all guests loved it. Great for contactless check-in. So that's a good testimonial.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jared, for your time and for your ongoing involvement with RMS. I know you and Vic Parks and the members have got a great relationship, and may it continue for many, many years, particularly if you give us a prize.
A prize? Yes, absolutely. We've got a $250 Visa gift card here, and that can be used anywhere for anything.
There you go. Anywhere for anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Good on you. Thank you so much, Jared. Fantastic. Let's introduce now our final associate who's been very patiently waiting in the wings, and that is David Harris from KMAC. Are you there, David?
I am, Michael. Hello, everyone.
Hello, David. Thanks for your patience. Before we talk business related with KMAC, your brother Tony took ill in May. What's the update on his health?
He did well. Tony had a stroke in May and is recovering slowly. He's, as much as Tony can have full faculties, he's normal in his mind. He's just a little bit slow down the right-hand side and leg, but he's getting movement back into both. He's in very good spirits, just a little bit impatient that he isn't recovering quite as quickly as what he thinks he should. He can't quite work out that May to September is not 8 months, and he thinks he should be a bit more advanced.
Okay. Yeah. You know, getting one's health back can never come quickly enough. Let's talk to refocus about KMAC Powerheads. How has business been for you guys?
We were really slow in the first lockdown with parks, and really fortunate that we had some marine orders, forward orders to go to the Maldives, to Taiwan and to WA. So that kept us going sort of through that first lockdown, March, April and into May. And then when the rest of the states came out of lockdown, we had a couple of the corporates that decided to take the opportunity with nobody in their parks to really do a strong OH&S program through their electrical side of things.
It's a good idea.
So yeah, we had some good orders come from there, from South Australia and obviously from WA as well. So we were fortunate, but we certainly miss our Victorian friends.
Indeed. Well, they'll be coming back in vengeance very soon. What's changing in your business as you see it roll out?
Look, we're becoming just far more and more technically orientated from a, I suppose, user pays, remote reading, switching of power, all of those things. Just everybody keeps saying to me, it's the second biggest expense we have outside of labour is power. So, you know, that's something that we're working diligently on. At the moment, we can't get out and commission any of our remote meter reading systems. So I've got those technicians just working on an app that will allow us to be able to possibly do that remotely if this is to continue. So yeah, we're not quite in the RMS space yet, but certainly from a technology point of view, we're moving there.
Indeed. And you were saying to me last week that there's a really clear shift for the whole user pays, that KMAC will be there ready with your equipment, with your technology to make that as easy as it can be?
Well, I think, yeah, we're finding more and more that user pays is becoming more and more popular. People that have been adverse to using it, you know, a perfect example is in Carnarvon, where I think there's 4 or 5 parks in WA. We had one park ring up and say, look, we're going to bite the bullet, we're going to put it in. And we had 2 more parks within a week ring and say, oh, we wanted to use it, but we just weren't game to do it. So now that someone's doing it, we're going to. So I think that will just catch on, and not much can be fairer, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, David. And on behalf of Vic Parks, please send our wishes to Tony and hope his recovery speeds up as quickly as it can be. Have you got a little gift to leave our good members?
I've got 3 gifts.
Too generous.
Being such a, well, I didn't think 1 bottle of champagne was enough, so I've gone for 3, and I'm making them magnums.
Oh!
And a $100 voucher with each magnum. So 3 different prizes for 3 different people, Michael.
Fantastic, and I have a good way of giving that out. Thank you so much. David Harris from KMAC Powerheads. And Scott, I'm bringing you up to do your piece right now. So Scott, would you like to jump in at this point, flag the AGM and tell us about what prize is going to go out at the end of this within a minute?
Well, first things first, it's a 12-month renewal for a Victorian caravan park current member. So that could be, you know, you wait till next year's invoices go out, or it could be the next 4 quarterly invoices. That really is up to you. But if you're a current Victorian caravan park member and you win this prize that's coming up, and everybody's equally eligible for this, you don't have to do anything else other than just hang around for another 10 minutes or so. You will be eligible to win that 12 months renewal for a Victorian caravan park member. And in terms of the AGM, we'll bring a group like this together again, have some more fun, and build our AGM around that if you can bear it. So other than to say, Michael, if I don't have another opportunity, thank you to everyone who participated, our associate members, those that caravan park members that we heard from, Melissa from Clack Clack, I'd like to thank Lorraine, who helped organise this with you, and of course yourself, Michael, who, as Steve said at the outset, it's not a Vic Parks conference in any form without you hosting it. So very much appreciated, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's conversation happening in the chat box. Keep that going. I'm now launching into wrap it up mode, okay? But we've got some prizes to give away, courtesy of RMS, as you heard, and KMAC. So let's do it now. Get your phones open again. Head into your room. We're going to do this as quick as we can. Again, these next 5 questions are about Steve and Scott. I sent them a questionnaire, and I wonder how well you know them. Here's the leaderboard at the moment. That was where it was sitting. We're going to add these points to that. That goes back to the start. And the leader, as we go into the last round, is Rachel and Beck H. But that's only one question ahead of others, and it goes on and on and on. Okay, so what we're going to do is finish with these final questions. These are all about our good associates. The faster you answer, the more points you get. You'll see the difference in the scoring. This is part of whose logo? That blue upside down V is part of whose logo? Is it the YMH, Tower, Grampians Insurance Brokers, or KMAC? Most of you have gone with with YMH. No, it's Grampians. What are the 2 colours in the YMH logo? The 2 colours in the YMH are the black and blue, yellow and black, blue and black, or yellow and red. Time's up. Most of you have gone with yellow and black. The correct answer is yellow and black. I think there's 2 questions left. RMS stands for Reservation Management What? Be quick. Service, system, status, or sample. Out of time. It stands for system. Indeed, and most of you got that. Excellent. Oh, this is a little teaser leaderboard. This is where we're standing at the moment. You can see that there's different scores now. We're adding that to what was before. So, Rachel moves into first place, Emma Malone second, Beck H third, and KK is fourth. We are actually going to award prizes to the top 4 people. I'll tell you now, the winner will get a $250 Visa gift card, okay, plus everyone in their team gets a Hague's chocolate voucher. Then the second, third, and fourth will win the beautiful Magnum of Moët Chandon, courtesy of KMAC Powerheads. Tower's correct logo includes these words. Which one? Real estate and business, business and real estate, business and real estate, business and real estate. Tower's correct logo. Big tip, have a look at the spelling. You can't change your mind, but was I a tricky bastard and did real estate and business in the logo? Oh, I got you. Yes. It's real estate. It's business and real estate with a logo there. All right. The leaderboard, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look. Congratulations to these. It is Rachel. All right. Let's give away a park renewal now. How are we going to do this? Very simple. You all know your room number. You all have been numbered from 1 to 6. You can see now that I am sharing my screen. I'm going to press this 3 times, and on the 3rd one, whatever number that is the room number. Okay? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 24. Room 24. Everyone in room 24 get very excited. Room 24, we're talking Bianca Hearn, Ricky Symes, which he wouldn't be able to win because he's an associate, and Steve Bartlett, you can't win. But Bianca Hearn could. In fact, Bianca Hearn, I think we'll go no further. Bianca Hearn, can you start talking to me? Hello, Bianca. Are you eligible?
Yes, I'm technically in Moama, New South Wales, but we are a Vic Parks paid member.
Then congratulations. Everybody give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to Bianca Hearn. All right. Bianca, you stay on the line if you will. I'll join you in room 24 with Steve Bartlett and Ricky Symes. But thank you so much. I hope the whole going overtime wasn't a problem for anyone. Unfortunately, we did lose a few at the end there. Quite understandable. We'll get our thinking together for the AGM. For the AGM, of course, there will be some more associates to meet. There will be some prizes to give away. There will, of course, be the important business of the AGM. So my name's Michael Pope. It's been an absolute pleasure touching base with unfortunately, just a few of you in this case, but the time will come when we will meet in person, and all the very best with the business recovery of your fantastic parks. As I said, I'll end off by putting you back into your breakout rooms. You can say your own goodbyes and just, you know, sign out whenever you want to. Travel safely, be safe, and we'll end on that good news that the Premier said today, that parks are good to open. Thanks very much, everyone. All the best. Bye-bye.